Buenos dias, Gunners Collective. Back at it? You already know. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Here's another one. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I said guard. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I said this another one. Bye-ya. Bye-ya. Orderly. Enough of that, man. As you can tell by that, I'm not in the mood. Today, I'm not in the mood to ba-ba-ba-ba. I'm not in that mood. I'm in a real mood, right? And you're about to see a different side of me, a real side of me. Straight up, not that I'm not real all the time, but this is a menudo style on a direct fashion side. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, so I was scared. Now everyone used to suffer, right? Now trip out, I don't wish hatred or anything detrimental against anybody. But one thing I will say for sure is, as you can tell by that thumbnail, that's me, my jefito, man. And I come from a family of evil, right? A family of betrayal, deceit, a lot of secrets, a lot of things of that nature, right? Now, growing up as a kid, you always look for that male role model, that figure in your life that you can look towards and say, when I grow up, I'm going to try to be like him, man. You know what I mean? Even if it's a wood down the street, hey, sprinkle him in, brother. See that wood, he has a motorcycle? I want to get a motorcycle too, brother, right? But at the same time, not everything is what it always seems. Growing up as a child, I had a mother and a father for a minute. And I started to recognize and realize that my father was always incarcerated. He was never there, and I'm not feeling sorry for myself or saying, hey, feel sorry for me because I didn't have a jefito, right? That's part of the game. That's part of being brown. That's part of Chicano life. Most of our jefitos, were incarcerated for whatever, various reasons, whatever they chose to do in their life, however they felt about their children, that was up to them, man. I couldn't dictate this program. I was a little itty bitty kid with a mean old black heart, and it was getting worse and worse and worse and smaller. So I felt like the Grinch, just slithery. It's just slithery, right? Because I had nobody to guide me. I didn't have no father, but I had a strong jefita. That's one thing I will say, and that's what continues to be. As long as you have that strong figure in life, it doesn't matter if it's male or female. I know a lot of straight up G's, gangsters that were raised with a whole house of females. It is what it is. Ain't no one asking anyone to feel sorry for them, but at the same time, there's a story to be told, and I'm about to tell it. So my father was in and out of incarceration. I remember as a kid going to Tehachapi prison with my mom for trailer visits, things of that nature. I'm a little old kid. I don't know to what degree what they were doing in the other room. I'm sure they were happy, but at the same time, I was sitting there watching Rocky 3. I said, tan, 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 orale, Clubber Lang, right? I remember these things distinctly. Didn't even know that it was a prison, but as I got older, realized that dad couldn't come home with us, right? Now, my jefita stood strong. She stood strong in the soil from which she toiled and raised her children as well as she could. But at the same time, when you're living in the Central Valley, when you're living in the 209 in a city like Merced, it's very gang-related, and all you see is desperation and desolation, then you got to understand that that's what I'm going to lean to. I'm going to lean to the streets to get my clecha. I'm going to lean to the streets, to get my gang. And that I did, indubitably, right? Indeed, I wrote graffiti all over the buses inside of Merced, in and out. And one thing I can say for sure is my only male role model that I really did have was my tío that also was in and out of prison. But me and him were close. We got close because we had the same mindset. The same mindset was get that bag. I said, get that bag. Guard! I was trying to get that bag even as a kid. Now, of course, you all know the story because I've told it so many times. I got incarcerated at a young age. The interaction with my jefito and coming from an evil family, I'm going to explain that to you. One side, not both sides. I come from a not only an evil family, but a strong, hard-working family. On my mother's side, all my tíos were hard workers. But it seemed boring to me. It seemed like a whole lot of too much work. Man, I ain't trying to do a whole lot of little bit, man. You got me messed up. I ain't trying to go out there saying dig holes and construction and all that. No. I'm trying to get the easy money, the easy bag. See, that's what's intriguing. Especially in the 90s with colors. Colors. With all the gang movies coming out and everyone being told that's what it was and that's what the brown people done. And so I was going to learn about your cultura and get right into the mix, get you some size 50s, crease them up, throw you a little baby cuff and boom, get to wiggling. Cortez game was real. That's what I was intrigued by. It'd be like that sometimes. Pensar, look, I'm going to break my mic. That's just what it is. So eventually over time, I got a little bit older and I got incarcerated. I caught a case for murder. And I started to realize that everybody kind of did their own thing. Everyone kind of left me where I was at. See, I was a young kid and I still needed guidance. I still needed help from the outside. I needed family. Send me some money. Send me cantina, right? That was not to be the case, man. I had to struggle and strive on my own. I understood that my jefita was still raising my brother and sister, so there was nothing that she could do for me that I had not already done, right? There was nothing that she could do for me. And I was too proud of a person to ask for anything. So I was on my own. You know, every once in a while, I get a little package here, or not, a little canteen here, a little canteen there, a little money, a little jug, a little $10, $20, and I made that holla. I made that work for me. But that's the struggle. That's part of the struggle. It's a situation I put myself in, and I would forever, understand that. As I got older, I didn't understand that at the time. At the time, I seen other people around me eating good, and I was wondering why I couldn't. But then now, as I'm older, I understand why. The situation, there's no money to ask for if there's no money there. Es expensa, a la tira. If you're brown and you know the struggle, then you know what's up. Rats and roaches, shiesty approaches. Buenos noches, right? Or buenas noches. That's how it goes. Anyway, so trip out. Now, my jefito was out the picture. And he wasn't out the picture because of what he was doing. He was out the picture because he chose to be out the picture. And that's fine and dandy. Candyland, right? Let him go get his little Candylandization on and live his best life and start his new family and do his thing. And I wasn't bitter because I was never a quitter. See, I was a hitter. One thing I understood for sure was the distance between us caused a lot of turmoil. It caused a lot of heartache. It caused a lot of pain. It caused a lot of animosity. It caused a lot of division. And this vato was going to answer some questions when I got older. Oh, yes. Of course, I get out after doing all this time by myself. Didn't hold no grudge against my familia that couldn't be there because they just couldn't, right? But one thing was for sure, I was going to sit down and have a conversation with my jefito and wonder why I came from a family so evil on one side, right? Because you got to understand the difference between the familia on my mom's side and my dad's side was very, very, very different. See, on my jefito's side, I come from a family that just don't care. I come from a family, man, that's all about thievery, hoodlums, jobs, go! Come on, man. Nah. That ain't never going to be the case, right? Everyone's going to go out and get that bag like AWACS, right? Everyone's going to go out there and do their thing. They're going to get straight to it. And when you're coming from a family like that, and then you're coming from a hard-working side of a family, it's like you're caught in the middle. You don't know what to do. As I got older, I was of the understanding that if I wanted to get paper, I did have to work, and that gave me a good work ethic. Seeing my tios work hard, eventually over time, I knew it wasn't a boring thing to do anymore. I knew it was part of life. It was mandatory. I was going to have to get out there, not in the trap, but get out there on the calles and make mines happen, and I did. But of course, I had that necessary evil in my life. I had the other side of my familia that I seen that was kicking back, driving Impalas on gold ones. You know what I mean? A little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I leaned more towards that because I was into easy money. I was into instant gratification instead of delayed gratification skills, so I could obtain the things that I wanted in life gradually. Knowledge you can't get in college. Anyways, I'll trip out. Over time, my brother got incarcerated with my father. And there was a big mystery there. There was a big mystery there, and I was upset. I was upset first and foremost because usually, in a normal family, of course, mine wasn't normal. I didn't grow up normal like that. I grew up in a household of killers and dope dealers and people that'd take your He-Mans and sell them, collect them off, right? I come from, no hope. There was no hope there. Any type of hope that you had to do it yourself. That's it. Mom was doing the struggle. She had 4 children doing her thing. Jefito was out there just wiggling, didn't really care. Come every once in a while and buy you a bag of popcorn, that type of motherfucker, right? So it was more like you're on your own. Now, I know a lot of people have the same old story, and a lot of people don't even cry about it, right? And I'm not here to cry and complain, but one thing I am here to say is we did sit down and have that talk. Oh, yes, we did. But it gets even eviler, right? And it gets dirtier in the game. So trip out. So my father and my brother get caught up on a case, to which my brother gets stretched out for 27 years or whatever the case may be. And my father ends up catching 10 on it. Now, I was always aware something there just didn't meet the eye. Wait a minute, how you take your son to go do a highland and you only get 10 years? That's it. You know what I mean? And he gets 20 something. Now, I understood, my brother being young or whatever, that there was going to be other things, other details involved. But I was always aware that something else happened in that case. So I had questions that needed to be answered. Now, at the same time that they had their little case going on, I was also in prison catching a pegada, facing attempted murder charges. Facts, right? To which I've told you about. I ended up ultimately getting about 3.5 more years and whatever. I did my tiempo, right? I did my time like a G because a G does time, Hey, you can't spell A without the G if the G ain't in you. Orale, right? But anyways, I did my thing. And so when I got out, my jefito, I got out. And I definitely had some questions that need to be answered, or even prior to that. Let me rewind. I said, right? I said I'm gonna rewind, right? And my jefito, I remember being on a prison yard in California, and getting rolled up off that yard. Not rolled up by anybody, but the administration told me, "Hey, you got to go." And I said, "Why? I like it right here. It's cool here, man. I work in the kitchen. I'm getting all the peanut butter I want." I wanted to stay right there. And they said, "Oh, no, 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 no." I said, "You got to go." And the reason I had to go is because they were going to bring my jefito to that yard for a medical reason. You know, my father ultimately died of leukemia. So they were going to bring him on for a medical reason. And I guess I was on his enemy list. To what degree of enemy list? The highest degree. Now, I never put him on my enemy list. My jefito, I'm trying to chill. I said, "What's happening?" Right? But I guess I was on his enemy list for one reason or another. I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to face the funk. You know, my jefito was, I always grew up knowing him as hardcore. I mean, he was unapproachable. He was one of those guys. He was a big dude, menacing. You see him on the thumbnail. And that's him at an old age. He was always 300 pounds, 6 foot, crazy looking, long hair, big old beard. I mean, he looked like a damn Hell's Angel. The type of author that you just don't you approach him cautiously, because he'll do something bad to you. That was his mentality. It's where I get it from, mister. You know what I mean? That's why, you're a poop butt, you're a JCat gun. Okay, yeah, say that if you want, that's it, right? Just run up till you get done up. That's hard. Now, one thing I'll say for facts is my dad was unapproachable. You know, so to me, I guess he lost it in his old age, because how is it that you don't want to have that conversation we so desperately need to have? Because you got to understand, when him and my brother got incarcerated, I was mad. Not at my brother for doing what he did. He was a young kid. He didn't know no better. He said, "Fito took him. So I was getting, let's go. Vámonos, right? Let's go get it. Let's go get that bolsa," right? But I was more mad at my jefito for even, who in your right mind would, "Come on, you're my crime partner. You're my crimey." Nah, man, you better leave him at home playing Nintendo and go handle your own business. You know what I mean? Put some hustle behind your fat ass muscle. That's what I'm talking about. But anyways, I desperately wanted to have that conversation, but I guess he didn't. So, real talk, man, I'm on an enemy list. So I get shipped out. It's whatever. Now I'm bitter. Now I'm gritting my teeth. And I remember this whole time that I was locked up as a youth, I never once got a letter from him. I never once got a, "Hey, mijo, how you doing?" You know, there wasn't a number to call. Back then, there was no cell phones. There wasn't like, "Yeah, I can get a hold of you at any time." It was what it was. Struggle by yourself. You want to do the crime? I said, do that time. Orale, I got you. The wind's blowing. One never knows, does one, right? So I did mine, but I was bitter from that. You know, at least a letter would have helped. Like, "Hey, Sasuke, Miko, how you doing?" I'm doing well. "Okay, well, I'm doing better than you are." Bing, 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 right? Never got that. So there was questions that definitely needed to be answered. But I understood. You know, I was a very understanding person, as I am now. You understand the plight of people, man. When you're out there in the game, they're out there in the game. You know, it's just the way it is. So many of us that have been incarcerated tell our homeboys that are locked up, "Hey, when I get out, I'm going to shoot your package, some feria, I'm going to write you," and nada. You get to pressing, pushing, meet an old lady. Next thing you know, you got 4 step-kids. Your kid that's on the way only comes out and it's not yours. "I'm scared the game is messed up, man." Bust down, Tortiana, bust down. She's busting down all right. And then you get locked up and she busts down just a little bit more. Next thing you know, she's writing you, talking about when you get out, you got 6 step-kids and still your kid. And she needs that child support for all them, right? Bang, bang. Ugly situations that we go through, but it's part of life. Anyways, back to the jefito, right? So, definitely want to have that conversation. It didn't happen in prison just based on, you know, they shipped me out. And cool, I did my time. I was very bitter, man. I remember, you know, I didn't know if this vato was a rata, if he told on me. But obviously, I got put on this lista, so there was a reason behind it. Cool, you know what I mean? I'm going to go ahead and hit you up one time for your mind. Now, it's cold that I sit here and I tell you this story when I'm speaking about my own jefito, who's now passed away, rest in peace, who I love very much. I'll never take that away from him. He'll always have my love. Maybe I didn't have his like I thought I did, but he'll always have mine, right? And not only my love, but a whole little bit of respect, right? Because I understand now as an adult, as a grandfather, as a father, the reason he did the things he did. You know, Sasuke, it's just not in some people to be a jefito. It's just not in some people. You know, I mean, they can do that. We all can do that. I mean, most of us, right? Especially when you're blessed like me. But whatever it is, whatever the case may be, it wasn't in him. Fine, that's cool. I said, didn't need you anyways. Bang, bang. Look at me. Look at me. Right now, son, look. Anyways, getting back to it in a menudo style, I get out, he gets out. And we're having a little family gathering in Monterey. I got a lot of family from Monterey, you know, the bowl area. So I go hit up there to the Central Coast. And it's the first time seeing him after about 15 years. You know, our paths didn't cross, and I wasn't going to go out of my way to make them cross. You know, when I see you, it is what it is. When it was what it was, right? And that's how I've always learned to live life, you know. I'm not going to go looking for you unless you do something real bad to me. Other than that, you know, it's a small world after all. We're going to see each other. That's it. I'm going to win the Super Bowl. I'm going to Disneyland, right? And hopefully you're there too. In order to Tinkerbell, I'm going to pluck your wings like Peter Pan. Now look, I get there, I pull up, I see him. We don't miss a beat. What's up, mijo? I said, what's up, right? I said, let me get at you. He was like, oh, hell no, right? I need to get at you. I definitely need to. My girl at the time, she was looking at me all crazy. Don't hit him. I ain't gonna do this. I respect him. But do I? Get over here, right? So we sat down and we had a conversation, an extensive conversation. He answered a lot of the questions I needed answered. And I told him, what, made you turn your back on your children when you were old? And then he said, I wasn't ready. You know, I was young, I wasn't ready, and I still wanted to go out there, gangbang, do my thing, and live my life. I said, that's understandable. I understand. I don't blame you. I'm not going to sit here and blame you extra because it's me. You know, I'll never do that. You know, the G, if you want to be a G and that's what it entails, and you're not being a man to your kids and you're not doing it the right way, I can't hate you for it, man. I understand a lot of people wiggle that way. You know, a little postcard would have been all right, though. I could right? But anyway, so we had the conversation as grown men, and, he answered many of the questions that I needed answered. But things changed. Okay, things changed. And this is what changed between us. And this is something I really never told anyone. I'm going to put it out there. Maon Jefita at one point in time, man, wanted me gone, right? And he wanted me gone out of fear. Here was the big bad wolf, the one the whole family looked up to. You know, the one when my brother first gets out of prison, he goes to his grave to put flowers. You know, he wouldn't even put flowers on mine, I bet, but he goes to put flowers on his, right? Devalta wanted to eradicate me off the earth. He wanted me gone because I posed a potential threat to him. Well, when him and my brother first got incarcerated, here's the backstory. I was angry and upset. I was upset because I didn't understand, being a father, how someone could take their child to go do a crime with them. Now, I understand the game. I understand it well. You know, I understand when you grow up like that, it is what it is. But see, my brother never grew up with my father like that, man. It kind of just was, he fell into his pad and didn't have no place to go at that particular time. And they got to jugging and wiggling, right? And that's cool, doing their thing. So they built their own relationship, father-son relationship, whatever. You know, I mean, I wasn't jealous of it. But at the same time, you know, I was more cautious for my brother's sake. Hey, watch out for them about these. About right here, about the evil vato. You know what I mean? He'll utilize you to get what he needs. Exactly what I said. And boom, here's my little brother locked up for 20 of them plus. Right now, them questions needed to be answered to me, and I was very upset. So I did write a letter to my abuelita at the time, which was my dad's mother when she was still alive. Rest in peace to my grandmother. I wrote her a letter, and I said, hey, you tell your fat son, you know, when I get out, it's on and cracking. I got something to tell him. I got something to let him know. We can do it any way he wants to do it. You gotta understand, at this time I was high power, active, norteño, in the mix, didn't care about no one or nothing else but the gang and myself and the cause. And was doing it righteously, was doing exactly what I thought I should do, and continued as such. Now, I guess that got back to him, and him being a bad dude like he was, you know, because I knew what I was going up against. I know I was going up against a juggernaut. You know what I mean? The apple didn't fall far from the tree. Plus, he was about 150 pounds bigger than me. They wanted all that smoke, right? But it is what it is. You still ate 12 Anyways, now look, he definitely got at the familia and told him and put him against me, and said that don't worry about it. If I came around, watch me cautiously, and he was going to go ahead and deal with me. Now, the type of family I come from, when we say deal with someone, we don't mean just talk to them or slap them up or pinch them on their butt or grab them by the earlobe. You know what I mean? No. Guard! I said we don't. We mean some real stuff, right? So I already knew what it entailed. There was a whole intricate plot, you know, to get rid of me. And I found out about it. You know, I found out about it, and I was heartbroken, you know. A lot of people in this world never went through that, you know, to hear and learn your own father doesn't want you around anymore. You know, I don't want to say the word kill because that's a little harsh, but I mean, you say it 3 times. I said, you know what I mean? Decipher it. Get down, demon. So anyways, when I figured it out, when I was told by my primo, this is exactly what he wanted, to get me alone so he can do a little choking out, that was fine. I was going to give him all that. If that's what you wanted, so that's what you get. So when I talked to him, I brought that up. And I felt the same way at that point in time. You know, I felt like if you want to get rid of me, well, I'm going to get rid of you. And that's a father-son bond that should never be broken. You should never disrespect your parents. You should always have love for them, no matter if they were in your life or not. There's a bond there that should never be broken. Now, if they do something bad to you, took your finger in your cooler or something like that, well, then that's a weirdo, right? And then you do whatever you have to do, right? But this was not the case. This was merely, he couldn't put the Mac on me, did the only thing he could do and turn his back on me. And that's fine. I can live with that. I live every day with that, right? But one thing for sure is I had to hit him up about this little plot. So I did. And he told me straight up, yeah, you threatened me and my family, and it's on the crack. And I said, I am your family, Bawoso. He said, I know that. But hey, in the game, someone's got to go. It ain't going to be me. I said, oh, it's definitely going to be you. Watch out. You know what I mean? We definitely had that conversation. At the end of it, I gained a lot of respect for him because he was a man and he kept it real. But a lot of people can't say that they went through life like that, or went through that type of life experience. You go from not really knowing your Jefito, knowing him and loving him as a kid, and then through your whole teenage years and your adult years. I understand a lot of it was my responsibility getting caught up on the murder case and being stretched out. He just couldn't be there even if he wanted to, and I couldn't be there. But as I got older, it just continued and snowballed, and it became something that just shouldn't have been. And it was unfortunate, not to have that relationship that I always wanted. And then to come to find out that when I really wanted to reach out to him to squash it, to actually be like, hey, you know what I mean? We only got a little bit of time left. Let's see, you're sick. I look good. Let's just push, and to find out that he wanted to get me, he wanted to kill me. I have a brother that just got out, and I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. We don't talk as much as we should. He just got out. He's living his life. He's doing his thing, and I'm very, very, very proud of him. He doesn't dislike me because I'm a dropout, because, hey, guess what? He's not active either. You know what I mean? There's vatos that got at me in my DMs. Hey, your brother, you're a DO. He don't want nothing to do with you. Hold on, puto. Whoever said he was active. My brother's living his best life, doing his thing, and I'm very, very proud of him. But at the same time, we don't have the communication there like I thought we would when he got out, because he's a grown man now, and he's doing his thing, but he knows I'm always there when he needs him. If he not when he needs him, when he needs me. I said, when I need him too. Hey, bro, I need you. I ain't fucking with you. Well, fuck you then. Right? And they can be like that. But anyways, they had a very close relationship. And out of respect for him and my father, because I did gain a lot of respect for him at the end, I'll let it go. But it's something that always is on my mind. My own Jefito tried to do something bad to me, man. Try to have me gone. And it got close. I heard about the whole plot, and I was like, wow, I was going to show up to my abuelitas that day. I was going to pull up to pick something up from a primo, and I guess I wasn't going to come back, But it never happened. And I don't think he could have done it at the end, but one never knows, does one. I know this, man, if he would have acted funny, I'd have did bad things to him, and that's a fact. Anyways, with that being said, think about what you have. If you have a relationship with your Jefito, you weren't able to have that, treasure the memories, treasure what you have. Because I grew up without that, gente. I grew up without, having a Jefito to take me fishing. Fishing? Say, stop it. You know what I mean? I didn't like fishing. You know what I mean? Like you're all cool and stuff. Guard! Do you go fishing? Puto, right? Never did that. All that, hey, mijo, let me teach you how to tie my shoes. Say, get away from me. I know how to lace up the Cortezes. That's just what it is. Anyways, I came from a family of evil, man. I came where there was one individual that just didn't care. But I do. And that's my story. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. I'm mad right now. I wish I could dig him up and talk to him again. Straight up. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. Get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, it's not all about fun and games and comedy all the time. Sometimes it's fun to be funny. And sometimes it's funny to be fun, right? But one thing is for sure, man, life gets real. And real is life. Remember that, You already know what it is. If you like this, hit that like and subscribe with a thumbs up. If not, thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive and struggle. I don't need a Jefito to do this. I'm all sad in my feelings right now. Or am I? One never knows, does one. I'm going to continue to do what I does, man. Bringing everyone together and making my mark in life with or without a Jefito. I do that. You know what it is. The gun. Bang, bang.